Veuillez vous lever. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Thank you very much. Court officer, please announce the case.
Bonjour. The court officer, good morning. Situation in the Republic of Kenya. In the case of the prosecutor versus William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang, ICC 0109-0111, we are in public session.
Very much. Appearances?
Your Honours, it's safer if I announce the entire prosecution team because there's been so much change. The prosecution today is represented by Mr. Lucio Garcia, trial lawyer to my left, Mr. Lorenzo Pugliatti, associate trial lawyer, Yulia Nuzban, legal assistant, Meda Begaliev, legal assistant, and Grace Go, our case manager, and myself, Adi Omofade, trial lawyer. Mr. Steinberg is indisposed today and won't be in the courtroom.
Defense.
Good morning, Mr. President. Your Honours, there's no changes to the composition of the defence team of William Ruto.
Mr. President and Your Honours, Mr. Sang's team remains the same, except that Mr. Bosek is not present today. Thank you, Mr. President and Your Honours.
Sorry, who is present?
Mr. Bosek is not present today, Mr. President.
Not present. Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, Arslan Arntzi from the PCV. Our case manager, Kathleen Hertz, will join us in a few hours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yesterday we left off after at the close of the day and on Friday with witness 326. So there remained the question whether Mr. Kicking Katwa should be allowed more time to ask questions. And before we go to the prosecutor for re-examination, Mr. Kicking Katwa had protested that he was rushed. And I did say there are times when we have to move on. Sometimes it appears that way, but that wasn't the intent to rush anyone. But yes, justice has to be dispatched with speed sometimes. And Mr. Kicking Katwa, you are addressing the question, but we ran out of time, literally, because the tape that records what we say as backup had run out. So we said we will take up the matter this morning. So I'd like to hear from you, but you let me know whether we need to go into closed session to discuss, or rather private session to discuss this. I would like to know specifically what issues, further issues you want to address. With that in mind, I would also like to hear from you. What is it that this witness has done to your client forensically that makes you want to keep on asking him questions in cross-examination? So you let me know whether you can safely discuss that in the public session or whether it is safer to go into private session. With particular regard to the last question I asked you, what exactly is the damage done to your client by this witness? I am not saying he did or he did not. It's just a neutral question that will guide the determination of whether or not you should be allowed to ask more questions and how much time you'll be given to do that.
Mr. President, I stand to request for more time to cross-examine this witness. and I propose to cover only 4 areas in his cross-examination, and I expect not to take longer than 15 minutes, Mr. President, subject to the witness answering the questions. Mr. President, I am aware of the question you asked me, being what exactly those issues relate to my client. Mr. President, the witness adduced evidence of an event which, according to him, my client was in attendance and was asked to communicate certain attendance by the first accused. Mr. President, the questions I want to ask him relate specifically to the people who were present in that occasion to confirm whether or not that occasion actually took place, Mr. President.
It looks like this is something we need to do in private session so that you can speak more clearly. Court officer, can we move into private session briefly?